Hi and welcome back to Revolut Wealth Manager. Hope everybody's doing well. Just like to take the opportunity to welcome new subscribers to the channel and also just say that I am trying to improve audio, so thanks for all the feedback. I've got a new microphone, some new recording software, so I hope it improves. Just want to take some time on this video to review my current portfolio. So what I like to do when the markets close on a Friday, I like to take a break obviously on a Saturday, forget about the markets for a day at least. What I like to do on a Sunday is just take a chance to run through the portfolio, have a good look at the numbers. I like to do that outside the app itself, so outside of the Revolut app. So what you're seeing here at the moment is a list of all my holdings. So this is a spreadsheet with, I now have 51 stocks. I'd actually decided in my own mind that I thought 50 was a good number in terms of total stock holdings, but I've actually gone above that 50 level. I'm now holding 51 stocks. So I've simply got a list of all the stocks. The technical analyst rating from investing.com. So I've spent some time to update that. One of the things I have noticed, if we just go down to the bottom, I've got a summary. So of the 51 stocks, 24% are a strong buy rating, 4% buy, 14% neutral, 14% sell, and 45% strong sell. So one of the things I noticed when I was updating those, there's been a strong shift. The majority of my portfolio was strong buys, but this week there's obviously been a big sort of correction in the markets, leading to many of the stocks moving to strong sell. That's not something that I'm going to worry about, but I do like to keep tabs on that. So obviously stock number, I've got these sorted by ticker. So I've got the ticker code, I've got the name of the stock. When I first started with the Revolut app, I did incur some fees before I upgraded to metal. So I had a column there just to track fees when I was making some initial purchases. But I did quickly decide to upgrade to metal. So I think in total I've got fees of around 1037. Just let me go to the left here. So I've just recently updated sector information, sub-industry and industry. I'm going to hide those columns, don't need those. So I've updated sector, which allows me to do some sector analysis. But the two key columns that I try to update every Sunday are the amount that I've invested, and make sure I include any new stocks that I've bought during the week. So how much exactly have I invested, both in terms of the initial investment and also reinvesting any dividends or any sales that I've made reinvested into other stocks. So this keeps a running total of how much money is being pumped into these stocks. I then keep tabs on the current holding value, so from the Revolut app, how much are those investments worth. Those are the key updates I make on a Sunday, because I want to feed those into a dashboard to fully understand what the position is on the account. As I've already said, fees, number of shares. I like to track stocks where I've still got less than one share in the company. So obviously depending on the value of the share, I tend to make initial investments of around $50. If a share is probably valued between 60 and 75 or less than 100, say, I tend to try and buy one share to enter into that stock. But I very much believe in sort of dollar cost averaging, whereby you're just drip feeding money into stocks over time rather than making a big outlay. So that's kind of a philosophy that I do subscribe to, certainly. I also keep track of whether the stock pays a dividend. We'll come on to that in the dashboard that I'm going to show. I also just like to have a little look at the latest price. So I've updated the prices as at today, the 13th of September. And then I've got some dividend information in terms of ex-dividend dates. Anything in red is a past historical date. I've also highlighted in amber the ex-dividend dates that are coming up next week. So we've got Domino's Pizzas goes ex-dividend next week. Iron Mountain, Coca-Cola, which if you saw my last video, you'll know that I've recently invested in Coca-Cola last Friday. And we've also got Altria that I discussed on Friday as well. I've bought some extra investment in Altria and just bought Merck as well, as discussed on the video. So those are the stocks that are going ex-dividend next week. I've also got the pay dates. Anything in red has happened. Anything red-green has happened, and I've actually received dividends from those companies. But again, the ones in amber, so a busy week for dividends coming in next week. So we've got Duke Energy, we've got eBay, Consolidated Edison, Home Depot, Key Corp, McDonald's, 3M, Newell Rubbermaid Realty Income, which is a monthly stock that I would recommend in terms of a more regular income from your stocks. Prudential Financial and Walgreen Boots. So it's a very busy week next week for dividends coming in, but I will cover that in a video next Friday in terms of a summary of everything that's come in and how that affects the total dividends received. I'm not going to go into the other columns, that's more my notes, so I keep that long list, and that gets updated every Sunday. I then feed that into a dashboard. This is a very early version of a dashboard that I've created for my own benefit. This is a very high level view on the portfolio, and the key things I want to track is the total value in dollars and pounds. So at the moment, the portfolio is worth 3.4k in dollars, 2.6 in pounds. That's an effective exchange rate of 1.29. Now that's quite important because when we look at the record of deposits, so I've deposited a total of 3.4. The portfolio is worth just under 3.4, so I've actually made a loss in dollar terms of $28. However, when you look at the record of deposits, as I said, I've sort of been dripping money in. Made a big deposit on the 3rd of August, and I've made a number of smaller investments up until the 11th of September. And you can see that graphically, this little graph is the cumulative investment over time, over the month of August basically. Because I've made those deposits over time, you've got an individual exchange rate calculation for each transaction. When you look at the average exchange rate over those deposits, 1.31, the pound has actually depreciated against the dollar, which is very important, and it means I've actually made a 10 or 11 pounds gain in terms of sterling value. So my rate of return in dollars is minus 0.8%, whereas in pounds I've made a very small gain. So we'll be keeping an eye on that over the next week, seeing how the pound's behaving against the dollar. I'm not really getting into thinking too much about strategic deposits, but just trying to demonstrate here that it does make an impact on your portfolio value in your home currency. I'm also tracking dividends received, but we pretty much covered that in a video on Friday. So I've received $4.8 so far, but as we've just discussed, expecting that to increase quite nicely next week. I also just like to look at the total portfolio, so 51 stocks, 40 of which are dividend paying stocks, 11 are non-paying. So I kind of think of these as growth stocks, whereas these are dividend stocks. However, my philosophy is very much to only try and include dividend stocks that I also believe have growth potential. But because I've made quite a rapid sort of increasing my portfolio through August. It may be that some dividend stocks have crept in that aren't really growth stocks. I'd probably like to throw them away, but we'll cover that in another video in terms of detail of the stocks that I'm holding, and also the process I go through in terms of when I receive a dividend, what analysis do I do on that stock to decide whether to throw it away, hold it, reduce my investment. So there's a series of analytical steps that I go through when I receive these dividends. So as I'm receiving dividends from the likes of Microsoft, Raytheon, I'm looking at those stocks and deciding, do I want to keep the stock? Do I want to throw it away? Do I want to try and take a profit? Am I keen to take a loss because I want out of that stock? But we'll cover that in another video. I'm also tracking, so you can see there's a list of 11 stocks here where I've received a dividend. So I've received a dividend from 11 stocks out of 40. Now it may be those 40 stocks I missed the dividend dates when I purchased those, so I'm not saying here that I'm waiting for 29 stocks to pay, but certainly we've got quite a lot of stocks going to be paying over the next few weeks. That's important to see this figure here increasing, because yes, I've received $4.80, but that's obviously on a quarterly basis. When you annualize that, we're expecting the portfolio to deliver more like $20, which is about 0.6% return on investment. So what we're wanting to see is that figure ticking up as the dividends are coming in. So all in all, I think I'm happy with where the portfolio stands. I am expecting the market generally to be tough, but that's where your dollar cost averaging comes in. You don't want to be, well, first off, you don't want to be playing with money that you can't afford to lose, and you also want to be keeping money available to take advantage of opportunities. So you're not panicking if the market retraces. You're actually sitting with a position that you can extend. So my goal with this portfolio is to get this fund value up to around £5,000, and I'm going to do that over the coming months, and I'm going to try and take advantage of any retracements. It's the old adage that there's never really a good time to enter the market. If you're trying to time entry, you're going to either be sat on your hands for months or you're never going to do it. I believe you've got to get in with money you can afford to lose, but you've got to keep capital back that you can put in where the investments and the opportunities arise. So I hope that's been useful in terms of how I sort of spend a Sunday getting ready for the coming week. I hope it has been useful. If you've got any questions, comments, please just go ahead and make those. Please like and subscribe, and there'll be more tomorrow.